Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Mum Show. Today I'm joined once again by Claire and Emma as we chat about how to get our families working well together. So get yourselves comfortable, grab a cup of tea and let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Mum Show Kitchen. My name is Marina, I am your host and I'm joined once again by Pastor Clare Hooper and child therapist Emma Browne. Hello. And today we are having a look at how we can help our families get working together. We know how hard it is to get chores done and completed to a good enough standard by our children. The question is, can we find a way to do it peacefully?
Yes, oh definitely.
Is it possible?
Sometimes.
I think the pressure is definitely on, definitely, especially in this environment, this day and age that we live in, where there's so many different competing demands on our time and our skills, and we need to, sometimes it feels like we need to be in 5 different places all at the same time, and I think it's a real challenge. It's a constant challenge for me.
It's also really personal, isn't it? Because I think that the way you manage your family and the setup you have, it's not like you could just follow a programme. I mean, we've all tried occasionally, let's admit it. We've all printed off that suggested rota for our families and we've all screwed it up a day later when it's gone wrong. But how would you describe your family ethos in a sentence? What would you say you do to keep your families moving and grooving on time?
Busy families work together. That's it, just busy families work together. And right from when they were little, we've wanted to instill in them that what is our family to do in life, you know, our purpose is a shared experience. They're part of it, we're part of it, they're part of our life now, we'll be part of their life going forward. Busy families work together.
Love it.
Yeah.
Emma?
I think actually one of the biggest things for us is don't allow conflict to fester. So or actually don't avoid the conflict. So don't be frightened of conflict even. So it's how we deal with it is the most important thing.
And getting jobs done.
Yeah.
And ticking boxes.
And just working together.
Yeah.
Generally.
I think for me, I think it's Maria Montessori again. I don't know the source of the quote, but you know, if they can, they should.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm like, that's for me, that's the big thing. It's like, if you can, you should. I was celebrating the day they could empty a dishwasher. I was like, yes.
But studies have proven that. So Harvard did a number of studies on their students that were suffering with anxiety, really high levels of anxiety. And they were able to track back to say that when children were very small, when they can, they should. Yeah, it gives them building blocks of confidence, independent thinking. It helps them, believe it or not, just tying their shoelaces or making their bed or doing laundry. The skills it builds in them doesn't just build a skill, it builds it's to do with their thoughts. You might know more about that, how that works.
Just being able to do things over and over again is, you know, builds those pathways, doesn't it? And I think at the beginning, there's a concept called zone of proximal development, where it's that space between something that a child can't do on their own and something that is that they can do with help. So that zone of proximal development is that space in between where we use the kind of another phrase called scaffolding. So we allow, you know, when a child is first learning to tie their laces, we don't just expect them to do it just by watching or doing it on their own. So we will show them a few times, then we might help them, and then eventually they can do it themselves.
But it takes so much longer, doesn't it? Like if you are a busy family, training your kids to do things takes ages and it doesn't always get done to the best standard.
In the short term it does, but in the long term it doesn't. But if you never teach them,
they're never going to learn.
No, and you end up and as they get bigger, everything gets bigger. So, you know, what's a small amount of laundry or a small bed becomes a huge duvet or a huge amount of laundry. And like, you know, their shoes are this big when they're little. Well, my boys' shoes are like massive now. Putting them away it's a bigger deal. So what you can give them now when they're little and younger.
Yeah, and it's helps
you.
Yeah, short-term pain for long-term gain.
Yeah.
You put the effort in now, because actually it is probably the easiest thing in the world to think, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
Rather than going through, I need to ask them and I need to battle with with the attitude and the resistance.
And there's somewhere inside of you then, when you don't get them to do it, you begin to feel undervalued, you begin to feel underappreciated, you begin to feel, does nobody else spot this? But in actual fact, it's a lot to do with confidence. People won't elbow in to help you if you constantly appear to be the person that's got it all together, that can do it all, that can be it all.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it empowers the kids anyway, doesn't it? Kids love it.
Yeah,
Little kids love getting hard at work. In fact, with it being winter, snow, for the last 10 years, it feels like. In reality, about 4 months of snowy weather, haven't we? My kids have actually made up jobs to do. They've done jobs that I never even knew existed, that I didn't know needed doing. Are you ready? I've videoed some. Okay. I like to video my kids. I've got this. Watch this. Brilliant. Try and work out how on earth Lilia is being productive. We've got a video. Take a look.
Brilliant.
It's like she is scraping the snow off the windowsill.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was about.
It's purposeful, isn't it? And it's a sense of achievement, seeing something that was snowy becoming not snowy.
And at the end, I noticed that whilst she was chiselling the snow off of the window ledges, Reuben was removing the snow from the flower beds. I was like, very productive children, not got a clue what you're doing, but I didn't want to ruin the sense of, you know...
Feeling like they could contribute.
Feeling
and
like...
they were being helpful and useful and having a job and... Definitely.
It's in them, isn't it? It's in them to want to get involved and get stuck in and to make a difference. And like you say, it's really therapeutic, isn't it? Absolutely. To see something get done, to see what was once snowy, now not covered in snow.
Yeah.
Are you ready to hear more from our lovely children?
Absolutely.
Okay, we've got a VT, let's take a look.
Mum Show Kids, action!
What do you think it means when a family works together?
I think that's pretty much the definition of family. Working together.
This one's kind of tricky.
Because although it's a family, it's not some kind of team or gang. Like within every group, within families, within like bigger families with grandparents, uncles, aunts, within teams, within everything really. Within the army, you've all got to work together.
Good job, Joshua. Yeah, kind of good job, because that was kind of tricky.
What jobs do you have around the house? Anna, what jobs do you have to do?
Sometimes I take care of my baby sister, Eva. And sometimes before I go to bed, I try and tidy up my room.
That's not me. I empty the dishwasher because Mummy hates it, and so do I. And I still do.
Well, in the morning, I have to tidy the kitchen, wash up all the breakfast things. What is the rest of the things? Well, in the evening, I tidy up the lounge, and I sometimes do the dishwasher. Oh yes, I read the Bible, hoover the stairs sometimes. My dad, he is kind of the general, telling us, right, you hoover the stairs, you tidy up the lounge, Mum, wipe up the breakfast bar.
Yeah, he is kind of the general.
When it comes to tidy up, my dad's in charge.
It really is.
My mummy's in charge when we have to tidy up. Lilia, tidy up the lounge while I sort out Reuben.
Do you think your mum and dad need help?
I don't think that they need help, as in they wouldn't be able to live without someone to do the work for them. But I do think it's very important to help your parents, because they feed you, they bring you up, they do. Yes, they do a lot for you. Thank you, Lilia.
They really
do a lot for you.
I do jobs, but I don't mind getting paid. I don't want to get paid. I don't get paid, but my brothers do. But I don't mind, really.
I don't get paid, I just do it because we're part of a team.
It's not like we're workmen who've come over to clean your house for you. But yes, I do get pocket money at the end of the week if I do a certain set of jobs, and so does my brother. But we do a lot of other jobs without getting paid for them.
Once Mummy and Daddy told me, okay, if you're going to stay up, you're going to have to do some jobs. So I did the trampoline, and I basically just jumped on it instead of tidying. I just jumped and went zoom, 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 instead of going. Just jumped.
She's learnt the art of making turning a chore into delaying going to bed and just having lots of fun, basically.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work when I told her to do that at all.
Don't you love the definition that he gave, though? Isn't that the definition of family working together?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, tell all families that.
And I want to pay the little sister. She's like, I don't mind. They get paid, but I
really
don't.
don't
and
mind.
I
She
don't
strokes the
mind.
dog while she said,
I really don't mind.
But I thought that was really interesting, actually, because Joshua, his response to that was, well, it's not like we're workmen getting paid, which I found that really interesting, because I was like, in your head, you're saying, I do a lot to contribute to this family, but basically, and he spent a long time articulating this to me, you know, he really did talk about this a lot, and he was like, we do a lot in the family and we contribute a lot, but basically, when we've been really helpful all week, and we've contributed all week, then at the end we get pocket money, which is just really interesting, because it's kind of that sense of, you know, because this is a debate, isn't it? You know, do you pay your kids? And I think pocket money is really important for kids to learn that. And in our family, we tend to say shared responsibility means shared pleasure. Yes. So you put into the family pot and you take out the family pot, and that's kind of the way we do it. But I found it so interesting watching that dynamics and what drives you, and obviously, like, we sit here going, yeah, and motivate your kids, but when they impersonate us, Dad's a general, Mum goes, Lilia, tidy the lounge while I look after Reuben.
It's so funny. That is definitely our house, what Josh was describing.
Mum, do the dishes.
Yeah, I get bossed around more than anybody in our house to get the jobs done properly. Yeah.
There's so much to do, though, isn't there? And to keep things working and ticking together, everybody's got to do it. And I guess
everybody has to.
It's trying to cultivate a way of doing that peacefully. I think that's one of the things. Can I tell you a quote by a lady called Charlotte Mason? Yeah. I love her. She helped people do education, and finally I can actually quote the source. So this is amazing, because I can never do that. But she does. She has in one of her books, let the young people feel that the happiness of the home is a trust which every member of it has in charge. Yeah. And I love that. It's like, make your children feel like they need to contribute to the happiness of the home.
Absolutely.
Because for me, I think that an environment that we create, and you talk about this loads with when you're training teenagers and when you're kind of doing things in Bible college and things like that, you know, creating an environment is really important for mental health. Yeah. It's important for peace. It's important for people to feel grounded. And actually, a child may not feel motivated to dust and hoover, but they might feel more motivated if they feel a responsibility that actually I need to bring part of the peace to this home, part of the joy to this home, and that sort of thing. Yeah.
There's a growing concern for helicopter parenting, where I think it's born out of the fact that parents do tend to have to both work now. Most parents you would find are out there, and when they then come back and they've got their child, they want to spend quality time with their children, and so skills that would have had to be done by children many years ago, or you yourself, you know, growing up, you had to come home and contribute because your mum wasn't necessarily home from working time, or if you were, you had younger siblings and you had to share it, and there wasn't the modern conveniences, so you had to pitch in. There wasn't a microwave or a dishwasher or all of these modern conveniences that reduced the amount of time. You didn't have 2 cars, you were on the bus, so everything was done together. Now you don't have to. You could get home and you could easily make a meal within a few minutes and eat, and then you could just spend your time together, which I do think a lot of parents are favouring, but it tends to be helicopter parenting, where people are choosing to spend the time to spend together rather than to build the skills to learn for future development.
But you even, because you used to do childminding, and that was your thing as a childminder.
It was one of my
used to
unique
get them
selling
working.
points. Yeah, every child would have a contribution in the week. They would have something to do, and they'd be, how do you get my kids to do that? I'm like, It's not a how, we just do. It's an expectation, and it's an expectation that that's part of what they do to help things work. We move on to an activity, they're in charge of this bit of it. The old school monitor kind of thing. Yeah. I'm the milk monitor today, I'm the this.
Earlier, don't you find the earlier that we instill that, the more kind of normal it feels, and actually the more sense of purpose and enjoyment they get out of it.
And it's so, again, God's nature and his character to want to empower his people to do good. And the best way we have with our children is we don't have the opportunity to give them a business when they're 2, or a ministry, or a job, we have the opportunity to say, tie your shoelaces, put those things away, be in charge of this area of your life. And then with that, with what you've been given, much more will be given to you in the future. If you can be responsible with this, then you'll be responsible with more.
I think that is part of the family culture, isn't it? Of saying that, everyone needs to muck in. And what you've described there, that is Jesus in his ministry.
Absolutely.
Because he didn't start his ministry at 12. He didn't start at 18. He was saying, in other episodes where his disciples were all much younger because they're all teens. He was 30.
I love that.
He was so much later. What was he doing first of all? Well, actually, he was carpentering. Carpentry. He was a carpenter.
He was a joiner.
He made cabinets. No, but he was there in the family business. He was working, he was grinding, he was doing these things. And I think especially as we move into kind of like a time in life where we can really focus on the out there dream, the big amazing thing that you want to achieve. Actually, the Bible really encourages us to ground down as well. We know in the Garden of Eden, they were purposeful. They had jobs to do. They were set to work. It isn't a bad thing to have to be productive, to build community and to contribute to those things. And I think that if it was good enough for Jesus, good enough for you, young lady.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Jesus' first recorded miracle was where he turned water into wine. He was a volunteer at a wedding. He was helping serve on tables. And he'd spent all of those years before, he'd been in the temple reading and understanding, but he'd been a temple boy as well, where he'd got things, fetched things, brought things, read things, fixed things, been behind the scenes. And then the first thing that his mum says to him, it's time, and he's like, it's not my time. And she's like, no, I'm going to provoke you to do a miracle because I know it's time. He is volunteering his time at a friend's wedding where he's serving tables, and then the servants then work for him. The servers, not servants, the servers work for him. I'm like, I don't think that's a surprise that he chooses that to be, I'm going to contribute to these people around me physically with the things that I have in my hand, and I'm now going to turn that into a miracle. I don't think that is a coincidence then that springboards into all of the other amazing, amazing things that he did. I think that's what we have the ability to give our children, something very practical, very tangible. My hands did this.
Yes.
Busy families work together.
Yeah, and you're shortchanging your kids, aren't you, in a sense? If you're not allowing them to step through that and to try new things, because we need our kids to feel empowered and capable, but we also need to raise children who serve. We need to raise children who care about other people and what they're doing. I loved in the VT when Joshua was saying, well, it's important we do it because they feed us and they raise us. They don't need our help. They could survive without us. But it's right
he
that
saw
we
it
give
as an act of appreciation, didn't he, almost, as parents, which is just so lovely.
Yeah.
But I just think we need to see it as much more than just how do we get the jobs done.
Yes,
we need to see it as this. What are we skilling our children up? This is so much bigger than that, isn't it? It's about their self-esteem. It's about their value. It's about their place. It's about teaching them skills when they go off and leave home and create their own families. Taking that family culture with them, building the community and taking it forwards. It's so important.
You work from home and you have your kids at home. How do you manage that then, that family balance?
But there's time. There's time. If we're at home, then we're at home. And I think because they've got space to do things, I just throw it in there. Often I don't put pressure on when a job has to be done. I just say it needs to get done, and I'll give them a choice. So I'll say, okay, today we need to do this, this and this. What order do you want that to happen in? And they will often structure. My daughter will say to me, well, I'm going to do some painting first, and then when I've finished my painting, I'll go and get this done or get that done. But one of the things I think that what's really shifted in our family dynamic, which I've really enjoyed, is I love the example that Jesus sets in that he does serve, but also he serves those beneath him, and he washes the disciples' feet.
Yeah.
And actually, as parents, we totally want to get our kids working, but I think it's really important that we also serve our parents. I remember growing up, serve our children. And I remember growing up and seeing a difference in some of my friends whose parents didn't serve them in that sense, and feeling like they had such a huge job list to do at times. And I used to think, gosh, they can't wait to escape, like they're overwhelmed by this. And one of the things that I've really created in having the kids home educated was I decided to introduce this time of getting the kids comfortable, wrapping them in a blanket, making the house really nice, getting them a cup of tea and a piece of toast. And this was just like a little routine that we would do. But me and my husband both work. So if we're not out exploring, which is quite often we're out exploring, but if we're working from home that day, then I would kind of have this culture that we create. But the kids now do it. They now do that. So they see me and Dominic working, and they'll go and they'll put the kettle on and they'll make some toast and they'll turn the fire up because it's one of those gas fires, and you know, they'll make the lounge look comfy and cozy, or they'll start to do those things. And I think for me, I would rather see them start to contribute to the happiness of the home than say to them, right, this is what needs doing, and I need to see that you've correct, you know, and I'm going to inspect it, and this is the jobs that I need from you right now. I think the approach I enjoy taking is to say, what do you think needs doing? You know, and
what have you seen?
What can you see? And I think that comes from setting an example of nurturing and caring, which is different to slaving.
Yes, true.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been really challenged recently because my daughter, as you probably all aware now, is in the teenage years. And she was previously really, really tidy and took loads of kind of care and attention with her bedroom. She used to have it, you know, really, you used to keep it lovely. Hit the teenage years, and my goodness, it is just like a bomb site. All her clothes are just taken left inside out, shoved in drawers.
Yeah.
She's probably going to kill me if she's watching this. But
she's a teenager, she won't.
But instead of just getting into a really negative cycle of nagging, you know, this is my expectation that your bedroom's tidy. I've just decided that I'm going to, every so often, which is usually about once every couple of weeks, we'll just do it together, and it is about actually, you know, I'm just not going to choose this to be a big battle. You know, she knows that the other jobs around the house, and that's much more about involving and helping out and joining the family. She knows what her jobs are, and she will do them. But her bedroom is her bedroom. But I want to serve her still, and I want her to feel. That actually, I want her to get that appreciation of what it feels like to have a really nice, tidy,
to be
clean
blessed
bedroom.
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
To just feel, because my mum used to do that. I mean, my bedroom was like, it would be perfect for a few days. What? Disclaimer on my house. I have a very tidy house, but yeah, the bedroom would be an absolute mess. But it was one of those extremes. So if I dropped like a piece of tissue on the floor, the whole room would be wrecked within half an hour. But if it was clean, it was perfect. But generally, it was never perfect. And my mum, every now and again, would just come in and she'd be like, right, come on, love, let's get this sorted. And she'd do it with me. And I think probably they are my strongest teenage memories. Is my mum walking in at that time and going, come on, love, let's get this sorted with the bin bag. And I think that was a way that my mum could really love me in that time. It wasn't a sit down on a lap and have a cuddle. It was just that absolute nurturing of, do you know what, I feel so taken care of right now. And I think it's my strongest, you know, reflecting really now, I think it's my strongest memories of my mum at the moment, I'd probably say. So what do you think, because we can get into like a rut, can't we? Where, you know, especially if we get really busy, where, let's face it, we can't even handle the jobs ourselves. What would you suggest, what would you recommend parents try to move from a place of passive, uninvolved children to helpfove working children? What would you suggest are some good things?
I love your tip.
On my list.
It's fabulous.
We have just tried to work with me and my husband. We talk about this all the time, about, you know, involvement and contribution and working together. And actually, I will happily sit down and say to the kids sometimes, I need your help now. I know you love me. but to help me, this is what I need from you. So they're really willing to get involved and do things. But we have this list that I say, it's choose it or lose it. And I'll write down a list of things that need doing, including their bedrooms, and I write mine. So we all write lists, all of our names, and you have to run from the other rooms, and you have to put your name aside 2 or 3 jobs, your initials, and so they come running. The moment I say, there's a list on the table, come and choose what you want, or somebody else is going to get it. And they all come running because like nobody wants to clean the toilet and nobody wants to take the dog out. They come running and it's hoovering the stairs or cleaning the bathroom or doing this or doing that. And even I were including, we just spend an hour together just all getting it done. But can I tell you, we've been doing that since the kids were little, but it really works. Recently, we've got, you know, an adult child now. He's 18. Whenever we go away for a weekend or do something, when I come back, our house is spotless. One of the things that he prides doing now, he's been doing his own laundry for years anyway. I've taught both my boys to do that. One's 15, one's 18. I just stopped doing their laundry. I said, if you want washing done, this is how you use the machine, this is where the stuff is. Wash it, just get on with it. You can do that yourself. You're too old for me to be washing your pants, okay? I've been doing that for long enough. It's your turn now. And so it really works. And so we were away for the weekend and we come back, the house is spotless. They just do it because they're really proud that they can offer that, contribute. Like the boy was saying, what's the boy called?
Josh.
They can contribute. It's because I want to contribute.
There's so much value in that, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so good. Again, it's just the nature of God to want his children to know that they can contribute, that they have an important part to play.
Yeah, I love that. I used to do that for my mum because my mum decided to get a degree when I was about 15 or 16. She went back to studying, and so she would come home late from university sometimes. And I used to pride myself, as did my other sisters, in blitzing downstairs. And we'd be like, right, let's just get all this done. And actually, I think one of the biggest motivators for me was my mum's face when she'd walk through the door, and she'd just be absolutely elated, and she'd be like, ah. And I used to like spray the polish around the room, so she'd really smell it.
They text me and they go, what time are you going to be home? What time are you going to be home? What time are you going to be home? Because they want to showcase their work.
So that's the second tip then.
Yeah.
Big, proud, positive responses.
Absolutely. So delighted.
Shall I give one?
Yes, please.
About when things are not going great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Family group meetings.
Oh, good.
They can be really, really valuable, and not just to focus on what we're all getting wrong, but focus on what's going well as well. What do we want to do more of together? What do we, what do we think is working well? And actually, sometimes it's difficult. Now we've got older children; they all want to be heard. Yeah. So we have a thing where we have a special teddy, so you can't speak. Yeah, or the wooden spoon.
But it didn't work because they kept pointing at each other. So we ditched the spoon, but a teddy might be a better.
Teddy or a cushion. So I guess it's What's
great?
Yeah. So if you're holding a teddy, you can speak and be heard, and it just allows everybody's voice to be heard.
Yeah,
it's really good wisdom.
That is really good. I like that. I like the way would that work in your family, Claire?
Maybe it would have done now they're older. Perhaps not, but I think it would have done actually. Something softer than a spoon that you could wag at somebody.
It's good. I like the problem-solving element of that. Yeah. I think that's really good as well. I think I probably would say to establish routine.
Yes.
I think it just makes it so much easier. Yeah, if you just get used to the fact that you get up and you always make your bed. Yeah. It's like my husband always tells me, apparently exercise is like brushing your teeth. You just do it every day. Yeah. You just do. I don't. But I think that with the jobs, it's kind of saying to our kids, it's just how we do things. It's just how we do things.
You did that tidy bedroom thing with Lily, didn't you, once? She had a tidy bedroom because it was too much going on in her room for her.
Yeah.
Calmed her down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Cleared the bedroom, cleared space, cleared clutter. We shall see you back on the Mum Show very soon. Bye.
Hello parents, don't forget to say hello. We're at forestcollective.co.uk. Bye!